Hi guys, Keith Larkenberg Farms. It is now the second week of June 2021. Now, let me tell you, it has gotten hot out here. We are now having days at 90 and above, which means we have to go into full summer protocols. And in case you can't tell, by the way, I'm kind of limping around the gate that I'm walking. Let's see if we can see it. Yep, I got a new shoe because I broke one of the bones in my foot. Top bone, third metatarsal if you're interested, but it's making me limp around a little bit. Anyways, let me take you around the farm and kind of show you what we got going on and how we react when it gets this hot out. You can see the irrigation behind me going off right now. So when the temperature starts going up, we go into what I call the summer protocols, which first and foremost, we open up the ends of the tunnels. Took down that end wall, also cut that one all the top so we get a good vent in here. This one over here that has the zipper door on that really never worked worth a darn. Gone. Perfect. Now we have full airflow coming through. We also have the sides coming up as well. Same thing back here. On this tunnel with the peppers in it, it's got the sides open. I do need to take the end wall out because they are still getting a little hot, but peppers can withstand the heat, so I'm not terribly concerned with that at this point, but it's something I will have to address if it goes over 95. Right now, we're just experiencing right at the 90-degree plane. Cucumber house, no problems whatsoever. We still do have cabbage in, and cabbage does not like it this hot. I pretty much harvested all I could. I know the rest of this is not going to form up, because I already got one sign right here, which is a bolting purple cabbage, which is not what you want. But I got a good harvest out of here. I could have gotten better had I done it better, but you know, it happens. First time really growing that much cabbage. As you can see, the getting the cucumber strung up. Team did a really good job this week of getting those all strung up because I was falling behind on it. And behind me here, we got a good line going. Now, I'll take you around to the different prop house areas because we've got multiple areas that have propagation on them. So the first one is just on our sidewall shelf in the prop house right here. We've got this shelf built on the side of it. Look up greenhouse sidewall shelf. You can see how I built that. We've actually got our little mini spray rig built onto the side of it, which is not actually plugged in right now. Let me plug it in and show you real quick. So what I have at each plot, I have a valve, and this one I have a splitter. One goes off for the drip irrigation that controls all of this. The other one typically goes to a hose, which is right down here. It's just a little dram spray head with a pressure adjuster. Now I have this hooked up now to my spray rig over here, which automatically waters the sidewall. Not the perfect, not the most best, because as you can see, I'm getting spots all over the place. I'm getting spray way outside of the region I should, because it's going clear out there. And I can also temper that by turning the pressure down a little bit. Something I gotta dial in, and I also have to get a timer on it as well, because I at least want this going off twice a day. I'd also like hand watering involved as well, or just manually going through and clicking the timer, because you can do manual on these timers. Now my main original prop house, I have a side that actually comes off to allow more air to flow through. I just have it hooked in with the wiggle wire and track, and it comes off and gives me full ventilation. I also have a piece of shade cloth I will stretch up over this once it gets a little bit hotter out. But in here I have the same thing, which looks like everything's really good and watered in here right now, but you can see the heads around the outside and the line that runs around right through there. I I have that set up for an automated irrigation system as well. Let me go hook that back up and show you. So over here I have the same thing, an on-off valve, which is going to have a timer on it. This actually controls the plot behind the prop house. But got a bunch of micro heads in here. So in this one I got a bunch of 1/4 inch little micro sprayers, which really does a really good job. It does put a lot of mist out and goes all over the place. Over in the other high tunnel over there, on the far wall over there, I had bigger round like area sprayers like you'd find for just standard yard irrigation. But I found these micro sprayers work really good, but you have to be very careful because when you have angles and stuff, you have like little spots like in these corners where you do not get proper irrigation, and that's where you can have die off and have stuff die back. So the idea is I'm going to take this model right here, which works great as long as you keep it going and keep everything good in water. Like I see a little bit of a dead spot right here. And I've got a little bit of die off and some trays right there. But I want to take this model and it's going to go over this whole entire plot here. I'm going to have a full propagation house like I should. It'll be 40 foot long, 20 foot wide. I got the bows that are sitting out there in the field that you can't see that were part of the greenhouse I put up earlier this year. It was up during the fall, but it's basically the top. I'm gonna put the post in, I'll put it in. It's basically a cat tunnel design, should be real simple. I have to use some wood and some other super expensive material right now because everything got really ridiculously expensive. But you basically need a good system that you know is gonna work to keep all your starts alive. And then you also have to check on them, and check on them, because if you don't, you will lose everything in this in a matter of an hour in 200 cell flats. When it goes dry, blam, they're gone. It's another thing we do now. We're this year, for the first time, we're switching everything over that has just started, which should be in here, or maybe in the other one, into 100 cell flats. That gives us twice the soil capacity, which gives us twice the water holding capacity, which should make it to where we shouldn't have to worry as much about keeping everything in the prop house irrigated. So after you have your tunnels good and open, you have your prop house all set up and ready to go, next is worrying about the field. When you have good mature lettuce like this, you don't have to worry about this when it gets hot. This is already set up. It's got good shade on top of the fabric, so you don't have to worry about it heating up. And just keep your irrigation going. The trick is, before I only watered roughly twice 2 minutes a day, or 10 minutes a day, twice a day. Once in 10 and another one at 6, so about half a day apart. When it starts getting hot like this, we have to switch over to the summer protocol, which is going at 10, 2, and 4. And I also like to do one early in the morning, so at like 6 o'clock, and that's when the dew's on there. That way I can get a deep watering early, and then after that, we just kind of cool throughout the day. We're not doing real long extended waterings during the other parts of the day, but at the beginning of the day, we're giving a good deep watering down. The rest are more of cooling. They're like 5, maybe 10-minute blast, where in the morning I'll do a much higher blast. Now, these two beds that have the shade cloth on them were just planted today, and it's hot. And I know it's hot, and the fabric makes it even hotter, and some of the starts are a little leggy. So when they get leggy, they'll actually fall over onto it, and it'll burn them, and they get wiped out like that. I mean, that's one thing you gotta be really careful, especially if you're not using shade cloth. That's the other thing right now. Once it's 90 degrees, everything goes under shade cloth. The leaf lettuce will only be under shade cloth for 2 weeks. Any of the head lettuce, well, actually that's backwards, there's a leaf lettuce. The head lettuce over here will be under there the whole time. That's the only way I can get good, crisp, really nice looking leaf lettuce in the summer here. The problem we have here is we're open from horizon, turn back around to the west, to horizon. So we do not have any shade here whatsoever. Once the sun comes up, it's up the whole entire day. A lot of places have tree lines and blockage and things like that, and they get a little bit of respite from the sun. Here we get nothing. So the only way we can counteract that is with the shade cloth. And that's the only way to grow lettuce in the heat of the summer. Now, as for our other normal crops, as I'll call them, really don't do too awful much more. I make sure they get their inch or two of rain a week. Like garlic, don't have to worry about that. Potatoes, don't have to worry. Onions, don't have to worry. One thing that does happen with spinach is it bolts. I mean, yeah, it's done with. It's got to be tarped. Carrots, the same thing. We just want to keep consistent watering. Beets here, same thing, consistent watering. Might get another harvest off this spinach before it goes, but it's getting awful yellow. Carrots are doing great and beets are doing great. The other thing you have to watch for is like right here. These timers get really finicky in the heat. And I don't know if they just overheat or they fry the circuit boards or what. So you actually have to watch them. I do know that this one actually burned out the other day, so it's not holding a program anymore, which I'm not super concerned with because it's on a bunch of mature crop that does not need the constant attention like this side over here. This block over here is all the greens this year. So this is the one that needs the real babying, the real attention. Up here is our long-term stuff, which is normal vegetable crops. And it just needs water, just like any other crop would. I mean, it doesn't need constant babying and messing with and constantly keeping it cool and making sure the transplant's set and all that fun stuff. So I've been coming out here and watering it once a day. Now, I left that on. I gotta shut that off real quick. It doesn't need to be on that long. It's been irrigated earlier today. There we go. Now it's shut off. So it doesn't need that much water, but it doesn't hurt it. So the next thing that needs attention is what used to be my walk-in right here. The big white box behind me. Any of these things you have cool bottled out with these window air conditioners, you have to make sure that they are maintained. This one, kind of hard to tell, but I actually removed the cowling from it earlier today because it was not working. Actually, it's not cool bottled out right now, but I have some other project going in this room, which I haven't had a chance to show you yet, but I'm going to get to that hopefully next week or the week after, because I shot stuff for this week, which will be coming out the week after. But I had to completely remove the cowling on this to actually get in here to spray the fins off. There was a thick layer of stuff on here. I bought this unit used last year, and I believe the guy was in an area with a lot of cottonwood trees because there was like a thick mat of cottonwood trees, and we have such fine soil out here from all the years of commercial farming that just like packed on there. So I sprayed through, it didn't do any good. I actually had to cut open and get down and spray down on the back side of the fins to get the air coats to drop out of the unit and actually get it working again. Now the only other thing you have to watch for, I mean, like this bed's pretty good, it's onions and some crabbies. The crabbies leaves drop, they come back up. Kale, like over here in this plot, we're in one over by the house. It's virtually indestructible. The same thing with the basil over here as well. I mean, basil loves the heat. It's almost ready to start harvesting. I just take them and pick the tops off. I'll show you that here sometime. But the kale, it's bulletproof as well. So the final thing you gotta watch for in this kind of heat is yourself and your team, because you can get dehydrated really, really quick in this weather, and it'll take you down. And when it does, it'll take you down for a couple days. Heat exhaustion is no fun. You don't want to experience it, and you do not want to be responsible for somebody else experiencing it as well. So that's the most important thing, is just to stay hydrated. Most of the time you're thinking about keeping your crops hydrated, but instead you want to also think about keeping yourself hydrated, more importantly than anything. Take breaks, go into the cool, work in the pack house, which is the most optimal place because that place stays really cool. I insulated it really good. And then other than that, I mean, just keep irrigating. It gets expensive this time of year, but that's to be expected. Start digging a well, hire somebody to dig a well. I don't know, city water's expensive. I pay for the county water. That's still expensive. But other than that, I mean, just gotta stay cool. When you can, go have fun, jump in a pool, jump in a lake, whatever. Cool off, don't worry about it too much. Fall will be here before long. You can enjoy the nice cool weather again. So, hope y'all liked what you saw here today. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all, have a good day. And if you want to learn more about this and other topics, go over to arkenbergfarms.com, scroll down to the bottom, digital tools and training. Got a bunch of exclusive content spreadsheets down there that I just want everybody to be able to experience. Thank y'all.